Good morning, everybody. My name is Jessica Catlin, and I'm really honored to be here this morning speaking to you as the Patient Inspiration Story, especially because March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. I have spent a lot of time reflecting on what kept me sane during what should have been the worst part of my life. And I offer that story as well as what I like to call the VIP approach to beating cancer, in the hopes that it helps at least one other person win against this terrible disease. First, a little background. In July 2016, I was diagnosed with stage 3 rectal cancer. I was 39 years old, single, no kids, working, dating, volunteering on the Clinton campaign, go Hillary. And now here I was on the eve of my 40th birthday, faced with, I have to look at my notes for this part, daily chemo radiation, my first major surgery, my first hospitalization, bi-weekly chemo infusions, and another surgery at the end of that. The possibility that I would have a permanent ostomy bag, and the certainty that I would have a temporary one. The decision of whether or not to freeze my eggs before the radiation killed my ovaries. The resulting onset of menopause. And that's just the stuff that I knew about going into this. Thankfully, the doctors said from the get-go that my cancer was very curable. And today, I stand before you cancer-free, stoma-free, rectum-free, period-free, happier and more complete than I ever was before cancer, thanks to the amazing team at Lurie Cancer Center and what I call this VIP approach to beating cancer. So here's what that is. First, the V in VIP stands for voice. You are an essential member of your healthcare team. And it is absolutely imperative that you speak up when something is wrong. You know your body better than anybody else. I had visited a doctor a year before my diagnosis in August of 2015 because I had blood in my stool. She said I was too young for colon cancer and it was probably just an internal hemorrhoid that would go away. I have a family history of colon cancer. My maternal grandmother died of this disease. She sent me away without even doing a test. And I believed her. We're raised to believe that doctors are all-knowing, they're smart, and this is a premier medical center. Of course I believed her. But in March the next year, the bleeding hadn't gone away. So I used my voice, and I went to see a new doctor. She also said I was too young for colon cancer, but I demanded a test, and she ordered it. My bleeding got worse before that test, and so I used my voice again, and I got in to see a specialist, who also said I was too young for colon cancer, but she moved up the test, and thank God she did. I was a ticking time bomb. My voice saved my life. And as it turns out, according to a recent study by the Colorectal Cancer Alliance, 82% of young colorectal cancer patients are misdiagnosed because this is traditionally thought of as an older person's disease. But I'm here to tell you that medicine isn't a perfect science. Earlier this week, having gained another angel because my 26-year-old cousin died of an old person's disease, amyloidosis. It was quick, it was aggressive, and it was totally unfair. These things can happen, so speak up. Even when medicine says, you know, the chances of you having something aren't very good. especially when medicine says the chances of you having something are good. It could save your life. I used my voice again during my treatment. It was important for me to keep working and to feel as good as possible as I was going through this. So every time I experienced a side effect, I asked my doctors for a solution. My voice helped my fabulous care team keep me stocked in many kinds of anti-nausea pills and pain patches and burn creams and pain suppositories, IV fluids, ostomy supplies. Not only did I work through that year in my full-time job that I didn't like, I went and got a new job, which I love. You deserve to feel as good as you possibly can during cancer, so try, ask for it. Use your voice to make it happen. You deserve it. I'm still having to use my voice. Now this is where it gets a little graphic and a little personal, so please bear with me. After my treatments were done, I was experiencing unexplained pain and bleeding in my lady part region. From the beginning, the docs had talked about late effects like neuropathy in my feet and fecal incontinence and my inability to reproduce. But even in this age of Viagra, nobody had discussed how radiation and the resulting menopause impacts female sexuality. I complained to several doctors about this, but it wasn't until I spoke with my oncologist, who's trying to hide from me in the back of the room, Dr. Sheetal Kirchner. She's amazing. She suggested I consult a sexual health specialist. And it turns out between radiation, menopause, your pelvic region and associated muscles and tissues and hormones take a serious beating. And nobody talks about it. There's actually something you can do about it. So with this platform today, I want to bring awareness to this taboo issue. And Northwestern Medicine actually has a new center for menopause and sexual health. They have brochures on cancer survivorship, breast cancer survivorship, and sexual health. I hijacked one of the tables out there, info tables, and I put down a whole bunch of brochures if anybody is interested in learning more about this. Next comes the I in the VIP approach to beating cancer, and that I stands for I, the patient. You, the patient, are the most important part of this equation. I'm a pretty public person, if you haven't guessed that already, and so I had to tell a lot of people about my diagnosis, and my amazing friends and family really all rushed and asked, what can we do to help you out? I was a little overwhelmed, honestly, with how to delegate all these people and put them into jobs, and so I used my Caring Bridge page to really suggest ways to help for the people who were actually serious about helping, because sometimes people just they're not really serious. But just by asking, I got house guests in a Chicago winter to help me keep away the blues. I got a cat sitter during my surgeries. I got chemo buddies to keep me company during my infusions. I got freezers full of soup and girly soaps and lotions, which I think I just ran out of. So it was all really miraculous. But by putting myself first in this experience, I focused all of the energy only on the things that would make me feel better. There wasn't room for anything else. And miraculously, so many people showed up in so many amazing ways. I'm here today as proof it worked. And finally, the P in the VIP approach to beating cancer, and that's being present. Coming into this battle, I had already been a mental health patient since 2008, diagnosed with major depressive disorder and anxiety disorder. Over the years, my yoga practice and some therapists and Dalai Lama have all taught taught me that we can't look back, you can't change the past. But you can't also control the future, no matter how much you try to worry about it or plan it out. The only thing you can really do is do your very best, one day at a time, right now. This more than anything helped me survive what should have been the worst year of my life. Beating cancer became my part-time job. I had a flashback to daily radiation when I went up the apprentice elevators and being used to going down all the time. Every day I would set a modest goal and I'd do whatever treatment-related thing I needed to do. That's it. I didn't try to figure out how this happened to me, why this happened to me. I didn't stew about what I endured. I didn't also spend a lot of time agonizing about, what if they didn't get all the cancer, or what if I die? It was kind of irrelevant in my charge of just being happy today. I often say it's a miracle I got this cancer when I did. I was old enough to have the wisdom and character to tackle this year, but I was also young enough to be physically resilient. So I did my best to be happy. I was alive after all. The only other colon cancer patient I knew, Justin Fitch, caught it in the emergency room. It was too late, and he passed away at the age of 35. I was at least given a chance to fight for my life. I had my fierce family and friends to beat this. I had a million friends stepping up to help. I had a job that was supportive and let me work a reduced schedule, so I had something else to do besides be a 24/7 cancer patient. And I went and I got another job, and that didn't go over so well, but whatever, it's okay. I could have spiraled into a black hole of unhappiness, but that wasn't going to help me get better. It certainly wasn't going to help me live each day to its fullest. So I made the choice to be present and positive. And the miracle here is I've carried that on beyond cancer. I now know what a real problem is. Work drama, traffic, the post office, Facebook fights. I don't let any of it get to me anymore. It's not worth it. And I must say it's a much happier existence. My only regret is I didn't figure this out sooner. I have a lot more to say, but they only give me 10 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up my story and the VIP approach to beating cancer. I'm honored to have your time and attention, and I wish you health and joy. Thank you.